Hi everyone, I'm here with Matt again
Hello.
to discuss something which kind of came up recently quite a few times, and that is sort of a fake lineage or people giving people promoting themselves to different levels in martial arts. Obviously, Matt he's doing PJJ, so that's sort of a more modern thing. I guess it's the lineage and the historical stuff. It's not that important as it would be in some of the historical martial arts. Um, but still, I'm interested his opinion on this. So what we've been discussing recently is people kind of making up their history, um, and on one hand. On the other hand, some of the real branches with some proper, well-documented history, everything seems to be okay. But then, oftentimes, it kind of evolved. Well, sometimes it evolved into sort of the quality of what they're doing is sort of questionable from like a real use on battlefields, self defense, whatever. So I don't know. So I'm kind of thinking these two things. So real lineage versus real skill. So what do you think, Matt? How important is the history for you, or
I
what's
would
your
say the
opinion?
most important thing would be the skill for me. I mean, it's because it always depends on the person, on the fighter. So like it's nice to have a like fancy lineage, but yeah, if I get beaten up, so yeah, what's that good for? I mean, it's okay, like in online discussions, I can say like, "Oh, my sensei is better than your sensei," but in the end, it's like I don't know, thinking my ancestors were better than you. Yeah, maybe they were, but
But
it's
how
not
good are
different.
you?
Yeah, how good are you? So
Right.
yeah, and of course there are like different level to all this fake stuff, from like creating own lineage, like giving belts from God. That was like one recent, to basically people just like wanted to be the mentor, the head coach. That's kind of the recent thing. Like people want to be head
It's
coaches.
getting quite political.
Yeah, and like all the different stuff. So it like you have all the options there, like from like, because a lot of times it's kind of like mixing, like creating like cult of himself. So like in that case, good lineage is like, okay, I don't know, it's like fake point for something, but yeah,
But the
sadly
god
it's,
lineage is the strongest lineage, so you
yeah,
can't
you
top
cannot
that.
argue with that.
Yeah, so what Matt is kind of talking about were things recently which we're kind of looking at. So one of them was a video of a gentleman who kind of, well, first he promoted his two wives because he has two and they are both his students. So he promoted both of them to black belt, and then they, in return, they promoted him to black belt, right?
Yeah, and I think they were like, he was like no stripe brown belt, and they both had like two stripes. So yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, and then we were also looking at sort of different things, like for example the levitating ninja on
Oh yeah,
YouTube, and some of the people who he gave ranks to, and yeah, so
yeah,
it gets quite interesting.
yeah. A lot of times, I don't know, kind of fantasy cosplay.
Mm.
Like the people want to look nice on the photos, like with all the historical clothes and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's quite. I don't think they're making too much money from that. So probably it's more like psychological,
Yeah,
ego-driven rather than money. Obviously, you
yeah,
can make some money, but it's you'll be much better off if you put your efforts into whatever other business, I would
yeah. I
say.
mean, different cults can like generate money, so it depends on what kind of people you have
Right,
around
true.
yourself. Like,
Hmm. Yeah. Right. Okay. I haven't thought. I thought about it more from the point of view that you kind of they pay you and you give them some kind of certificate. But actually, if it is a proper cult and you have like members and they will sort of
yeah,
donate their life savings to you as a guru, so then that's a different
yeah.
level.
I
Okay.
mean, that's like kind of really easy slippery slope in all martial arts because there's like somebody who is like better than you. I mean, obviously, just in the case of the martial arts, probably, and but that means like he's better in everything, and it can get really easy mixed up,
Yeah, I think it's.
and that stuff happens in I think in all martial arts, and it's kind of goes back to the lineage thing.
I think people do have respect to their instructors or to people of a higher skill, and that can be kind of easily abused.
Yeah, and it's also like the coaching positions. I mean, they are easy to abuse, like for like some psychopaths, or people who like to be in power. So like, yeah, it's good place for them
Mm.
because it's easy to abuse. So yeah, you create like I don't know, some kind of group mentality, feeling, whatever, and then like I don't know, you go to train elsewhere, and yeah, then you are a bad guy or something. Yeah, those things can happen quite often.
Mm. How I'm kind of looking at the whole certificates and different levels, it should be kind of it should be a help to the people. Why do we have all this stuff, right? So it should tell people who are not experienced to understand what is the level of that particular person teaching, I guess.
Yeah,
But if the person has some experience, then they can tell, they can just observe what they're doing, how they're moving, and that person can make sort of a opinion for himself. But I guess if someone new comes to this and they don't have any experience, it can be easily sort of. It's hard to tell, I guess, for
yeah,
many people. You look at something, they're doing some weird movements. You
yeah,
would think maybe that it might never work, and it does. And then some movements might look like they do work, and they don't.
yeah. I mean, for a good trained person, I mean, I said that I saw it personally a lot of times that like we had this one young man, not a boy anymore. He's like 15, but he was coming for a training like for a month or a month and a half, and then another beginner started to come to the training, and he was, I think, 33 years old or something like that. He did never any sport, but in the end, the the boy with the 1 month experience could dominate him. I mean, it will it will end probably shortly because of the experience would slowly match, but it's easy to overwhelm a beginner with basically everything which he doesn't understand. And like also when I'm more experienced, I can pull up crazy shit on people who are experienced. But because I have more experience, uh, I can I can make that happen far easier. I mean, of course, I couldn't do the same stuff on the people of my level because that stuff often doesn't work. But I can help with moves against beginners or like yeah, real easily, and I can pull them off because they don't know how to defend themselves or what to do in that situation. So yeah, that's kind of a threat. And also it's kind of a thing because you have a lot of like fancy techniques online, and they're like, okay, I can pull that stuff against less skilled people, but yeah, it doesn't work on the same level. Or you could say after some experience that super stops to work
Hmm.
because people can react properly, and it was, yeah, and beginners cannot tell the difference.
Then usually they want to do the flashy stuff
Yeah,
because it looks interesting.
yeah, the good stuff is boring.
Yeah, good stuff. Uh, that seems to be kind of everywhere
Yeah,
the same.
and also like the stop motion techniques, like opponent does some attacks really slow and then you react full speed. Like, yeah, you can make every, I don't know, choreography and it will work that way.
Hmm. So, what do you think is a good way to uh, eliminate or kind of minimize these sort of weird tendencies of these kind of like made
And
up things in martial arts?
a really good thing is simple sparring. Like, you would see really fast what works and what doesn't work. And that's one, and also that's kind of one of the signs of, you could say, like a toxic gym or like fantasy-based gym. Like, there is seldom proper sparring sessions.
And maybe sometimes also sparring between other gyms or
Yeah,
other.
and that's another big thing. Like, you need to spar with as many different people as you can because people react different. Some things can work in your gym and wouldn't work in other gym, and some things will not work at your place because, I don't know, people can be so good at defending them because, I don't know, the move is often used in that environment. So you can feel like you're hitting a ball, and then you go spar with different people, and then it gets easy, uh, or vice versa. You can hit a move easy on a guy who you know, but you cannot hit the move on somebody else because, I don't know, you maybe have such a good read on people, or you spar so often together, so you basically knew the next move what will happen, and you build your game around that. Other times it isn't even conscious, like, you react to the problems that you have.
I think historically also the lineage, it was another kind of reason or another purpose of all those documents was also it was a certain certificate of quality from
Yeah,
who you learned from, who he gave you his stamp and whatever, and kind of because the it was not the age of the internet where nowadays you can find pretty much everything. Of course, there are certain things you might not find, but even some of the Koryu schools, they're quite open and they share much more than they did in the past. Obviously, nowadays these skills are not used against sort of enemies in, well, maybe not on the battlefield, but you know. So there is no such it's not that necessary to keep them secret as your sort of secret weapon or some kind of some advantage against your enemy, because we in most countries we kind of living in the age where these skills would not be used.
yeah. I think the time of like secret moves ended with video cameras. Like, back in the day, you can have like your special. It probably wouldn't. be a move a lot of time, or like you could say like a system. So you want to force opponent into some situation and then you exploit it. So it was usually easy to do when you don't have cameras, because usually especially in the competition, you don't need to know when you mess up. You don't usually you see like a moment after, and then it's a lot of things going on. So it's hard when you don't have like any footage to analyze back the situation, like what went wrong, what went right. So people could get away like with the special, you could say, techniques, but nowadays far harder. Like you can analyze one match for days and like go to every detail. If you can hang out with the black belts, you are probably a black belt or something like that. I heard it from Charles Sonnen, who had it from, I don't know, somebody else who could. I cannot remember the name, but it was like, oh, it was one of the Schultz brothers, also like a really tough guy who probably could easily held up against the black belt because he was like a really strong wrestler. But yeah, Chal, I think, tried to like hang out with them and get and got choked out or arm or so. So like, okay, I'm not at that level. So yeah, but that goes back to the skill thing. Like your belt doesn't give you the skills. The belt should be like basically saying you have some experience. But I mean, you need to have the experience, because like without it, like what's the worth of it? I mean, for some people, obviously, and that it's enough. But yeah, and also
Mm.
with the lineage, I mean, it it works with real lineages. Like you can tell like some instructor, like they are known that they don't give belts easily, or like they 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 like to wait a little bit longer to give the students the belt, so you kind of can know that the quality is there. But again, that goes hand with skills. So
Hmm. I just remembered what I wanted to say. So, well, I was going to say that it's for me personally, it's not such an issue. In the end of the day, someone made it up at some point in the history. There was someone who kind of made it up. Of course, there was probably some kind of evolutions, and different people were adding to it. But if you are such genius that you can pull it off and you can make up your system, um, and it is really good, then it's not such a big issue to me. If there is a real lineage or not, I would want to learn from you.
yeah, and also like nowadays you can learn a lot of things by yourself. Like it happens all the time. Like you maybe don't have any proper training facility around you, or like any proper gym, but you still have like one training partner, and you go through all the techniques and stuff like that. And yeah, sometimes those people can be good, and like then what's your lineage? Like BJJ fanatics.
Yeah,
I
YouTube
mean,
sensei.
yeah, but I mean, I learned so much stuff from things online, because also like your instructor can be there every time. Like he cannot answer your every question, especially like if it's a bigger club. You cannot go with every tiny detail and show it to me.
Mm.
So like if you do your own research, like, you can learn a lot of
Yeah.
good stuff, and then it's upon to you if you make it for
Mm.
your situation.
There is a saying: your most important teacher is yourself,
Yeah.
because of course, especially in the beginning, it's much better if someone can kind of show you the basic principles. But then if you're obsessive and you kind of you teaching yourself, you can get far.
Yeah.
Of course, it's
I
much
mean,
easier if there is someone who
yeah,
can
yeah,
give you.
exactly. I mean, it's far easier if you like. The best thing is combine. Like, you are enough obsessive about it. So like, you have spare time, you watch videos, which which is actually the case of a lot of good coaches. Like they spend their rest time just watching videos and analyzing footage. Like, I mean, Danaher does that, Keenan does that, like all the good people does that because you have some time spare. I mean, you cannot train all the time, but like your mind still works, so yeah, you can still learn.
It's definitely, I think, pretty much anyone who was really exceptional in history, they were they had the skill of stealing the technique by observing what others do, and they were sort of obsessive, and
Yeah,
they did teach themselves as well as they studied from someone.
yeah.
Anything else?
I think yeah.
Okay, so just to sum it up, if you just want the papers and belts, etc., you can contact the Global Shinobi Association or the International Soccer Ship Councils and similar institutions. And then I guess for those who don't, for those who want the skill, then it seems
Yeah.
like they have to study hard,
Yeah, then
learn
it's
from
easy.
someone
If you
who is
want a
good.
skill, go train
Yeah, go
and study
train,
hard.
study hard, find someone who is really good, learn from them, try to analyze it by yourself, etc.
And trial and error.
Try and learn. Okay, great. Thank you very much. So see
Thank
you
you.
next time. Bye
See
bye.
you next time. Bye.